Yo, what is really good, my dudes? Welcome to another RuneScape news coverage video. For this video, we're going to cover the live stream mod Shani did today, looking at the Temple of Aminishi coming on Monday. So without any further ado, let's jump right into the video. Let's go.
Cats is the illest. What you talking about, Willis?
Alright guys, there's a bunch of stuff that was revealed and some stuff that was, reiterated on the stream. I'm really just going to try to go over the stuff that is new that I haven't covered over in my previous videos. So if you do want to see any more information, do check out those other videos. This is just going to focus on some of the newer things that was talked about in today's stream. Anyways, you could see Shani was running through the first two rooms, just killing all the mobs, etc. in the Temple of Aminishi. He did explore the rest of the rooms, although he didn't kill any monsters in the other ones. But yeah, one thing to take away actually when he was killing all these, ideally when you're going through this, when this comes live on Monday, you're gonna want to group up all these monsters up, make use of all your AoE attacks, your corruption shot, blast, etc., those kinds of things. Melee has a lot of AoEs that I'm sure you're all aware of. It's going to be really useful here, and I imagine rangers might want to take mechanized Chinchompas with them as to take out these mobs and rush through it as quickly as possible. Now you can slow split for much of these mobs unless they pile too much on you. I'd imagine you'd want to turn on your protective prayers and do some defensives at that point, but if you are smart about your positioning and how you traverse through the dungeons, then you should be fine soul splitting for the most part. Now you don't need to clear out every single mob in the dungeon to progress further. Similar to dungeons and dungeoneerings, you only really need to kill the ones that are required for the barriers in order to break those barriers and move on. And not every single barrier in the dungeon needs to be opened up to reach the next area, so keep that in mind. Mod Shani does recommend on stream that wearing a Luck of the Dwarves while you kill these, because all the mobs here have the chance to drop items from the rare drop table, so it will consistently help you out here. You may even get lucky and grab yourselves a Hazelmere's signet ring. Moving on, mini bosses will be marked on your mini map with a special icon. Now they have a lot more health than your standard mobs, as you would expect, and they can do basic abilities, so keep that in mind. That being said, you should be pretty fine with soul splitting these as well, and killing them will award you some dungeoneering tokens. In this case, Mod Shiny received 5k dungeoneering tokens for killing this particular mini boss. Moving on to some of the rewards, there are various loot chests, and I have talked about those in a previous video, so I'm not going to go into major detail as to how they work, but this is where you're going to be finding the loot from all the mobs you've been killing. However, you can toggle this feature off and loot will be dropped on the ground with the chance of doubling drops, much like the Sophonem dungeon. However, we just want to look at the rewards for this particular part in the video, and we can see here various different things. First up, we got chimes, which, simply put, you'll be able to earn chimes through elite dungeons. These are the currency that's used in the Arc region. Pretty standard, not much more to say about that, but it's interesting to note. Next up, we have Aminishi relics. These are an all-new item being introduced with this update. They will be not tradable, but they can be alched and disassembled. They disassemble for random components, much like you'd see when you disassemble gizmos. And there are different tiers of relics. We see in the stream that there are common and uncommon relics. I don't know if there's more than that, but I'd imagine they correspond with the kind of components that they give out. Moving on, we have the Sanctum Guardian. This is the first boss that will appear in room 2 of the Temple of Aminishi. Shani doesn't show off any of the mechanics with this boss whatsoever during the stream, and in fact ends up killing it off screen, but we do get a look at one of its drops, and here we have the Onyx Dust. This is also a new item being introduced with this update. Basically what it is you can combine it into creating an uncut onyx. Now I'm not sure how much you need actually to collect and combine to form one onyx, but that's exactly how it functions. It's pretty simple and pretty straightforward. This way they have actually a bit of wiggle room. Right now, monsters that drop anywhere from 1 or more onyxes, the money you make if you happen to get lucky and get like 2 onyxes versus 1 is vastly an improvement due to the prices of onyxes. But this is a way for them to still give out onyxes but not make that gap so large. They also quickly showed off Masuda's War Spear. This is a new 82 spear dropped from the second boss, although they didn't really show much about the second boss, but they did show off his weapon, and that is this tier 82 spear. Interesting tier choice, I gotta say, actually. The Arc region already gives us the tier 85 Mizuyari, So a tier 82 spear. Wonder why they went with that, but it is what it is. Maybe we'll see it getting some use. Maybe some Iron Men can use it. Who knows? Just a couple of days before we find out if it has any good use. It is augmentable though, so at least there's that. Moving on to more rewards, we're going to have a look at the reward shops. Now, there are actually 2 reward shops coming out with this update. There is the main Elite Dungeons reward shop. This will be located on Demonheim, and this is going to be where you're going to get your general rewards from all Elite Dungeons. So I'd imagine the shop will have more to offer with more dungeon releases. However, each dungeon themselves does have a unique reward shop found at each dungeon location, and we will look at Aminishi's one in a bit, but let's have a look at this general shop first. And all these shops will require dungeoneering tokens to purchase what they have on offer. So this one we have the note paper blueprint. This will allow you to make untradeable magic note paper through the invention skill, which I'm sure a lot of people are going to be happy to hear about that. It's actually the first opportunity that Iron Man have ever had to get their hands on magic note paper, so I'm sure you're going to like that if you play Iron Man mode. Next up we have the dungeoneering skill door boost. This will actually add a permanent +4 to all your levels when opening doors. So if you're 99, you'll actually have 104 when it comes to opening skill doors. This actually stacks with the benefits from the Elite Dungeoneering outfit, which I think gives you a +7 in total because the outfit gives you +3. So that on top of the 4, ultimately putting you at 106 for skill doors, which is really, really nice. Next up we have the superior, or what they're calling plus versions of the Scrimshaw of Aggression, Sacrifice, and Corruption. When you unlock these at this shop, you'll be able to make them in your player-owned port with ancient bones like you would with other Scrimshaws. Additionally, they're making a change to some of the Scrimshaws in that shop. XP Scrimshaws themselves will require only 4 bones instead of 10, and Gathering Scrimshaws will require only 2 bones instead of 10. Moving on to some of the consumable rewards, we have the Garaho cards, both the team versions and the solo ones, as well as the different types of dragon trinkets. And that's what you can see for your standard general Elite Dungeons reward shop. Let's shift gears over to the Aminishi reward shop and see exactly what we've got over there. So we've got a bunch of cosmetic outfits. You can see here the various different types. Basically, these will allow you to look like the various different inhabitants of Aminishi. If you are so inclined and you like how they look, then you can spend your DG tokens here for those nice cosmetics. Next up we have the Death Lotus Extract. This is a upgrade to the Death Lotus darts that you get from ports and will make them a tier 88 weapon. However, you cannot augment these, so I don't imagine them being too valuable, since the simple fact that you can't augment them really hurts their value. But it is what it is. I imagine the mage alternative will come with Dungeoneering 2, but that's yet to be seen. Moving on, we have the Aminishi Teleports, which obviously is really not that useful since you can already buy these with chimes, and I'd imagine it's much more efficient to spend your chimes than your DG tokens, but to each their own. And then we have a standard Uncharted Island map. Now this is not the one you get from deep sea fishing, so it doesn't have the chance of getting the red one that will get you Tavia's fishing rod, so just keep that in mind. This is just the regular one that you would normally get from like skilling or combat. And then we have a Lucky Charm. Now this is something I've talked about in a previous video, but basically it improves the drop tables of the mobs within the Temple of Aminishi itself. So you could see things like Sirenic Scales and other items that make them more worthwhile in terms of the money you can get out of the mobs. Now I didn't go into major detail about the tier 92 armor because I did a video dedicated to that entirely, but that is one of the big calls or the big draws to doing this content when it comes out. The simple fact that tier 92 power armor will be available. However, the helm and legs are the only ones available for Sirenic with this update. Magic will come with the next one, that is also the helmet and legs, and then the bodies will come with the third Elite Dungeon. But overall, it looks like some really great content. Let me know what you guys think about it. I am still really excited for it. This is only just like 2 days away, just a weekend away, and then we're going to jump right into this. I'm really hyped for it. But that pretty much covers all the new information or any things that you might have questions for. Although if you do have anything extra, then do leave them in the comments below. I will try to answer those to the best of my ability. So I'd love to hear what you have to say about that. I'm going to wrap up the video there. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button. If you're not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. If you want to stay up to date on all things RuneScape related. And I am out. Peace.